I am Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States. I like to think big. I have this big dream to expand our nation. If we could expand our borders westward, just think of the benefits. 1, we would be safer from foreign invasion. 2, we could secure our trading rights along the Mississippi River for American settlers. And 3, we could give our nation room to grow for future generations. If Americans explore the West, we could claim it as our own. Now that I am president, I am going to try and make this happen. Look what Daniel Boone did to help move people west. We have settled all the way to the Mississippi River. Kentucky, Tennessee, and Ohio are now states. Just think of how many states we could add to our nation if we had the opportunity to move further west. I know we are not the only nation that wants these western lands west of the mighty Mississippi River. England, Spain, and France all have their hands in this as well. What if we could claim all the land to the Pacific Ocean? I have been pushing to have an expedition since the 1790s to explore these very western lands. But now that I am president, I am planning on making a proposition to Congress on this day of January 18, 1803, to allow me to send a group of men to explore these lands. These men would need many supplies. I estimate the cost of the expedition to be about $2,500 plus gifts of land to the men in return for their service. I already have a man in mind who would lead the expedition, my personal secretary, Meriwether Lewis. Lewis, as I prefer to call him, knows about river travel, the wilderness, and Indian culture. He would be the perfect man for the job. I have great confidence that Lewis would be able to find the Northwest Passage. There must be a river route connecting the Mississippi River to the Columbia River. I sense that from reading the notes of other explorers, yet no one has found this passage. Oh, how this would help increase our trade with India and China. Trade equals money. Money equals a stronger nation. I do hope Congress approves of this exploration. Do I have any questions? Catherine, you have a question.
How do you plan on getting $2,500 for your expedition?
Good question. Well, I secretly sent a message to Congress asking for the funds. I made it quite clear that sending an expedition might help our commerce, which is trading goods with other countries. It may enable us to possibly steal the fur trade from the British. We may even be able to find the Northwest Passage, which will help our economy. This will allow us to import and export goods from India and China more easily. I'm sure Congress will take the idea of increasing trade with the Far East. I haven't heard back from Congress yet, but I feel that they will fund this expedition.
Thank you.
Any other questions, Catherine?
Other than Meriwether Lewis, who do you want to come to explore the land?
Ooh, well, I will leave that up to Lewis. He has suggested that we should keep this group small. He was thinking of having 1 officer and 10 men. He suggested keeping the group small so the Indians wouldn't get frightened. I'm not sure the exact number of men at this time, but I do know it will be a small group. Ava?
How will expanding westward protect our country?
As you know, the lands immediately to our west. We are here. Oops. This is our area here. But the lands immediately to our west is the Louisiana Territory. It is owned by the French. And beyond that, it is owned by the Spanish. If we could claim this land, then we wouldn't have to fear invasion from the west. So right now, we kind of fear that maybe France might want to invade us because we are east of the Mississippi, and then Spain may possibly invade the French area of the Louisiana Territory, although we are trying to work on getting those lands. But right now, if we can claim the lands to the west, then we don't have to worry about invasion. We have another question.
What if there is no Northwest Passage?
Oh, the Northwest Passage. Well, we believe there is a Northwest Passage because if you notice, let me erase my work here. technology in the 1800s. So, if you notice here, we have the Mississippi River and we have the Missouri River. We have had past explorers plus fur trappers have mapped this region. And then they have also made note that there were these very large mountain ranges, Rocky Mountains. But beyond the source of the Missouri River, there happens to be the Snake River here, which runs into the Columbia River, which ends up going to the Pacific Ocean. We strongly believe that somehow there is a connecting river source or water source between the Missouri River and the Snake River. And if indeed there is a connecting source, then we can import and export goods from the Gulf of Mexico down here, up through the Mississippi River, through the Missouri River, and out to the Pacific Ocean. And we don't know for sure if that exists, but we strongly believe it exists, just from past explorers and fur trappers. So I'm going with it that we strongly believe that it exists. Emma.
Can we trust Meriwether Lewis? Will he do the job right? What shows besides his knowledge of the land that he's right for the job?
Oh, yes, we can totally trust Meriwether Lewis. He was once a captain in the U.S. Army on the frontier, and of course this land out here, to the west of the Mississippi, is the frontier. He knows the land and is very familiar with Indian culture. He is a very bright young man. We have worked together hard. We have worked very hard together, planning many details of the trip. I feel confident that he is the right man for the job. Another question?
This can be a money risk. What will our money look like when this goes wrong?
I don't believe this is going to go wrong. But as I said before, I feel very confident in this expedition. The money will be well spent. We will hopefully find the Northwest Passage. Plus, we will explore the land and its natural resources. It will be a scientific expedition as well. It will be an opportunity to increase trade. We have a lot that we can gain. No matter the outcome, the money will be well spent. Luke.
What if there's happens to be in a wildfire and we have...
Well, of course we will always have to worry about natural disasters such as wildfires. We can only pray that these men are successful. You have another question, sir.
Yes. What if there is not a successful one passage?
Well, as I said before, we're not 100% sure that the Northwest Passage exists, but we strongly believe it does. But if it does exist, then it can only boost our ability to trade goods along the route and to India and to China. Yes, Grace.
How do you know that there is a river route connecting the Mississippi River to the Columbia River?
Well, yes. Let me refer back to my other map here. As I had said before, we are not 100% sure that there is a connecting route. But, as I said previously, from past explorers and fur trappers, we believe that the source of the Missouri River here, there's a short distance between that and the Snake River and the Columbia River, which will empty into the Pacific Ocean. We are not 100% sure, but we feel confident that there is some kind of linking water source. Yes, Grace, you have another question.
How would this help increase our trade with India and China?
Oh, well, if you look at the map here, there we go. Currently, we have to travel down the Mississippi River here, or around the coast, from the east coast around Florida. We're actually down here, all the way around the tip of South America, Cape Horn. Very, very dangerous, long journey. And all the way back up, across the equator, and over to India and to China. So if you notice, we would have to travel from either the east coast, one of our port cities, or down the Mississippi, around South America, around Cape Horn, dangerous waters, sharks, waves, strong currents, strong winds, up, around, and over to India and to China. So that is a long route versus if we had a Northwest Passage, we can use the Mississippi, Missouri River, hopefully connecting to the Snake River, Columbia River, and out. Look at the distance. It is much shorter to have a Northwest Passage versus going all the way around South America.
Mr. President,
Anna, yes.
why do you want all this land to the Pacific Ocean?
Well, I'm not sure if you are aware, but in 1801, Canadian fur trader Alexander Mackenzie, he published a book suggesting that Britain set up forts and trading posts. This concerns me greatly. We need to claim this land for ourselves before the British do. If we could claim or own this land, then we would be safe from invasion from the west. We would have more people settle these lands, which would lead to larger settlements, towns, and even cities. The more people that live on this land, the more states we will have, and we would become a stronger nation. We would be able to control the port of New Orleans, which is right down here, and control the Mississippi River and the Missouri River. We could use its natural resources, which includes the possibility of gold.
What will you do with all this land?
If we could claim this land, we would allow for settlers to live on the land and help our nation grow.
Mr. President,
Yes, Tyler.
exactly how many states are you going to add?
Ooh, good question. Well, we can't add any states just yet because we don't own the land. If we do claim the land, the number of states added would depend on the number of people that move west. We have already added 3 new states, Kentucky, Tennessee, and Ohio. Kentucky, Tennessee, and Ohio, right there. And that was since Daniel Boone had widened the Cumberland Gap, now known as the Wilderness Road. I find that to be very exciting. Do you have another question, sir?
What if the expedition costs more than expected?
Oh, yeah, good question. That is always a possibility. But Lewis has carefully calculated the cost of our supplies, such as food, weapons, gunpowder, scientific instruments, and a boat. That comes to be roughly about $2,500. Plus, we will give the men, in return for their service, the land, or a piece of land. Yes, Preston. Well, indeed, the Indians will be there. They live there. But Lewis suggested that he travel with only a small group of men so that they don't frighten or threaten the Indians. Lewis also is very familiar with Indian culture. Sir, do you have another question? Well, yes, I said $2,500 for the cost of the expedition and plus the gifts of land. Land, how expensive is it? Well, the land is not like buying land in one of our cities in the east over here, such as Philadelphia. There's such a vast amount of land that we could possibly claim. Giving parcels, small pieces of land to a small number of men would not really affect the budget of the United States government. Of course, we still need to claim the land from the Spanish, the French, and the Indian tribes living there. This is not going to be an easy task, but I will let you in on a little secret here that we do have a possible deal in the works for, well, at least we're trying to hope for the New Orleans area, the territory there. So that is what we're hoping for. Congress has, which don't tell anything, Congress has allowed James to go over to France to talk to Napoleon Bonaparte. We have given him $9 million to buy New Orleans area. That's where we are right now. Now, I think James Monroe has a little larger idea in mind, but $9 million is what Congress has allowed James Monroe to purchase from Bonaparte, New Orleans, which we're hoping for so we can control the port city of New Orleans all the way through the Mississippi, Missouri River system, which would be an outstanding thing to happen.